Shorter intro tonight. Why? So we can get right into it. Welcome to Canucks with Guitars. I'm your host, Ben, and this is my co-host, Terry, a fellow Canuck. Believe it or not, with guitars. Look over his right shoulder, folks. He's teasing them right there. You know, I got him here, there, and there. Yeah. Canucks with Guitars, where we help you with your gaps. Amps.
Pedals.
Yeah, we got amps, we got pedals, we got gear, which is perfect. We've already got 10 people in here. Awesome. Well, we had more, but they all beg out, during the intro because I don't know. I don't get it. Let's see. Who do we got all in here tonight? I'm going to start at the top tonight just because last night I just got lost. And so we'll get right to it. We've got Zach Thong. He was in there an hour early. He wanted to get right down front. We got James Pava in the house. Awesome. Dale Palmer, Martin Lemaire. Some guy named Terry's 3Gs. Don't know who that is. Paul McNary, our newest channel member and patron. Got to remember that. I forgot to write his name down on the list, so I have to remember to shout out Paul when we shout out the patrons. We got Randy Crooks. Unbelievable. Tinkerbell made it. Awesome. He owns some sharp guitars, and I'm not just talking looks. They're sharp. You could cut yourself even. EC Painter from Emporia, Kansas. Great town. One of my favorite race car drivers is from Emporia, Kansas. Right, Doug? Because I see Down and Back with Corn Doug in here. Mickey Settlemeyer, JP Page 2. Thomas Santiago. Hey! Dan, New Jersey, how you doing? We've got young Mr. Radford, Alex Radford himself. We've got Papa Blue, Hit Metal Works, I Rock Z Blues, or on this show, I Rock Z Blues. Yep. Guitar 1952. Nice. Welcome.
No problem.
I think that's a new name. Maybe not. I don't know. I get a little fuzzy during the shows at times. Michael B. He's alive. Excellent. Editing a video to post in a few. Listening.
Nice.
Perfect. Lurking while working. Hashtag lurking while working. Shout out to our friend and brother Bent Tom on the birthday of one of our favorite people in the world, Kyan. So happy birthday, Kyan.
Happy birthday, Kyan.
Apparently Doug's going back to bed. He never did confirm. Emporia, Kansas. There's Dwight Bailey, the hitman himself. Yeah, you should check out Tinkerbell's channel. He's been putting up some content lately. He knows his stuff. He takes a guitar, Terry. First of all, he buys it. That's the first step. And then he'll take it out of the box, but he'll comment on how it's packed in the box, aka like Trogley does, which I like. Then he'll get her all tuned up, and he'll measure stuff, and he uses various calibration, implementation, measurement systems, and he knows what he's talking about. Plus, he's got a Mohawk, which, I heard Mohawks improve tone by at least 14.3%? No, 14.4. Just like an old modem. Yep. Terry Hines. Oh, cool. From Phil's crew. Awesome. Guitar from 1954. I assume nice. Guitar. GTR. Yes, Emporia's home of Jeff Gordon. Right, Doug. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Doesn't your favorite driver work on a shrimp boat or something? I don't know. In the off season. Inside joke. 37 people watching. So please leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. This is a live Q&A show. You got the Q's, I got the A's. We'll answer. You know what, Terry? I'm going to do like Kreskin here. I'm already going to predict the first question from the chat. I'm not actually that hungover, folks. Because that's what the question was going to be. Hey, Sid. May 23rd. Happy birthday, Sid. Welcome. I think Sid's a new name in here. Awesome. And that's the thing. I say new name. Well, maybe new in the chat, but some people, they'll watch for months before they take the deep dive into the chat. And I get that. That's awesome. Is there any people left?
Birthday to anyone who had birthdays on the weekend as well as Ben.
Yeah, Guitar Man 45's daughter's birthday was the same day as mine. Doug, nope, I don't. Well, there might be a slice left, but I don't know. Excuse me.
From the 1 or 2 times I've had toppers, there would be nothing left.
I had 3 slices after the show last night. Well, I had 1 slice as soon as we went off air.
Yeah.
And, I had a couple more slices and then off to bed. Hey, what about Master Switch? Thank you. Doug says, Winchester, Ontario, home of Larry Robinson. I got a Larry Robinson story. I got kind of drunk on his boat once. Yep. What was the context of that? Oh, that's right. We were going to a dry wedding. Haha. Why did I get drunk on a boat? Because we're going to a dry wedding.
No, jeez.
So, we have some cousins in the family that are a little more religious than other cousins in the family, we'll just say. And so one of them was getting married, and we heard tell that it was a dry wedding. Yeah. So we went to the ceremony, and then, it's one of those deals where you got a few hours to kill because they're off doing photographs or something. Who knows? Making a movie. Who knows? They're off doing their thing. So, hey, Chris Thomas. So it was in town here in Belleville, and my Uncle Lang's like, you want to grab a drink? I'm like, hells yeah. Hey, Fruitcake Tony. By the way, folks, for the newest channel members, we believe Fruitcake Tony messaged me. The Mike Star pics have all been mailed out. You should be receiving them soon.
Awesome. Thanks again, Tony, for doing that. That was awesome.
Yeah, so we're in town, and my Uncle Lang, who he's the one I showed the picture of last night, who raced the motorcycles. Well, after motorcycles, he got into boats for a while. And by boats, I mean he didn't look at it if it was under 30, 40 feet in length. He's one of those guys. And so he's like, go down to this dock at this marina, just in the bay here. I'm like, all right, because it was a local wedding here in town. Like, all right. He's like, buddy's got a boat we can hang out on. Well, far out, So we stopped off the old LC, aka liquor store, picked up some beverages, and we headed on over to the boat. And I noticed as I'm getting on the boat, Terry, they always have the name of the boat on the back of the boat, and most of the boats are all backed into the docks, so it's easier to leave. So I see the name Big Bird.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, and my girlfriend at the time went, well, that's an interesting name. I went, okay, well, sure. And I was like, wait a minute. And so we get on the boat, and I'm like, whose boat is this? And he's like, oh, buddy's, was a buddy of his was taking it like from one location to another. Let's say from up where you are, Terry, because we know there's a lot of boats up in your area. And it'd be like, okay, take it down to the Trent Severn, and then he's picking it up in Kingston, we'll say, or something. Or down here at the Bay of Quinte, basically through the Trent Severn water system, which takes a few days, and people will pay people to do that for you. So, and it was his buddy who owns, let's say, a boat sales business that also does service and offers, obviously, services like this. And I was like, well, yeah, but it's not his boat. And he's like, no, it's Larry Robinson's. I'm like, no shit. I'm like, what? There's the name on it. So we got pretty lit. Well, I didn't. That's right. I only had 1, maybe 2. We were there for like 3 or 4 hours. I had 1, maybe 2, 1.5. Or 1 and took a few sips off the missus's one. Because I had to drive over to the wedding reception, which was close by. And then we show up. And then I'm just drinking pints right in the parking lot of the reception place because, again, dry wedding. And one of the brothers of the bride, he's like, where were you guys? Like we all got together and we went off to, let's say, Denny's or Tim Hortons to hung out for coffee. And we're like, oh, we're having drinks on Larry Robinson's boat. Now, because I'm a big hockey fan, he's like, wait, what? I'm like, yep, that happened. Hey, Sir Lawrence of the Pedals. Happy Monday. I hope we're doing well. How many Fuzzface lovers are here tonight? Who loves a Fuzzface? We know Scott does. We know Terry does.
I do.
Hey, Scott Brockaway, by the way. He's not tagging, eating. Unfucking believable, likes his Phoenix Fuzz. Oh, I cursed. I don't usually say unless I get a super chat, but that's okay. And that's right, hashtag Canucks with hangovers. That wasn't too bad. Although I woke up at like 7 a.m. I was in Charlotte mode. I was telling Terry, Charlotte mode to me is for like 2 weeks straight. You give her till at least midnight, 1 in the morning, and then you're up at 7 in the morning to attack the next day, full of activities and debauchery.
Yeah.
See, I love Adam D's intro greetings on Mondays. Yo, Terry, 3 times.
Oh, actually, it's 3.5 times. So you messed up.
Only temporarily. Hey, Rising Havoc.
Yep. And to the person who asked
Tinkerbell.
why I put it 3.5, because on
Transition.
Friday I go to get Pfizer 2-shot.
You know, Terry, and I too am looking forward to getting my shots, because maybe then I can have clear internet with 5G. Tinkerbell says, "Wow, bro, thanks for the shout out. Love hanging out with all of you and wanted to share my little world with everybody. I'm going to play a little sax tune. I think I'm going to do that too. We'll do a duet."
Nice.
Oh, my nose all of a sudden got stuffed. I love that time of year, Terry, where you're breathing fine. Also, you take one breath and like one nostril's like, nope. And then you take a second breath and the other nostril's like, nope, I'm joining the other guy. And you're like,
oh, yeah.
and I'm like, what? I'm like, of course, there's like no Kleenex around, so. Okay. Ooh, we've got questions and stuff.
Nice.
Hey, Randy Upchurch. Let's see. What did I see there? Sid's got a question. Ben and Terry. Moderately priced fuzz pedal for a beginner. ZVEX seems too difficult to master. Well, ZVEX is your boutique-y, nice stuff. You know, like we'll say he's in the ballparks with the Lawrences of the world, and who else? Who else do I want to put in that? Well, your boutiques, you know.
Keeley.
Keeley's too big.
Hmm.
I'm not putting him in yet. No. See, I'm even debating with Zach from Mythos at this point. Speaking of which, Zach from Mythos is moving into a new workspace. Did you know that, Terry?
No, I did not.
Hey, there's some news for the show. Yes. He is moving into some shared space with Novo Guitars.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if he's going to take a corner of the Novo factory so he can get all that sawdust right inside your pedals as he builds them. It's sound insulation.
There you go, sawdust fuzz.
Oh, yeah, there we go. So that's happening. I don't know. See, but the thing is, like having been to the Novo factory, and I use this because I don't know about you, Terry, but it doesn't matter what it is. But if cartoons have taught me right, and I know they have, when I picture factory, tall brick building with smokestacks. If there's 2 smokestacks, they pump out opposite each other, usually. If they're really pumping, the whole building will inhale and exhale. So, but the Novo quote-unquote factory is actually in like a strip mall. As you see light industrial plazas, like light industrial parks, we'll say, you know, where there could be a big industrial building, but then there'll be a 6-unit plaza, and it's like a plumber's in one unit and an electrician's in another one, and you know, stuff like that. So I think he might be going, I don't know if it's in the same plaza or actually in the same unit.
Hello, Absolute Mayhem.
Hey, Mayhem.
And to get back on the question
Tone
that
dust
was asked.
Yeah, affordable. Well, what kind of fuzz? I assume like there's what, 3? You got your Muffy style, you got your fuzz face.
Yeah, you got Big Muff, you got Fuzz Face.
And we're overgeneralizing
Tone
here.
Bender.
Tone Bender, yeah. So what you into of those 3, Sid? Are you into more of a Big Muff, or you want a Fuzz Face? Like for me, I lean towards more of a Big Muff style because I want a woolly fuzz. I don't want a ripped speaker staticky fuzz, which I find a Tone Bender is, or a Fuzz Face. Sorry, Lawrence, but I know, Lawrence, I'm just not a good enough player to properly use a fuzz. I know.
Myself, I only have 2 fuzzes at the moment. Of course, the one that I was nicely gifted for help from Shane from In the Blues a Voodoo Octave by Joyo, which is a very cheap fuzz, and if you get a good one, they're cool to play around with. And of course, thanks again to Alray FX for me winning their contest back in 2013, which I won a limited edition Alray FX Lucha Fuzz, which is their version of a Big Muff.
Lawrence says fuzz is as fuzz does. Sure. Scott Brockway says, I'm done shoving substance into my face. I'm just picturing him doing rail after rail of Coke. Sorry, but that's what it sounds like. Let's see.
So if you can be a little bit more specific, Sid, are you also looking price range? Because there are some sub $100 fuzzes that are.
Well, I was gonna say, isn't that like that Behringer Super Fuzz or whatever the hell it's called?
Yeah,
that's like super popular, and that's cheap.
Yeah, that would be cheap, probably.
You know what? That's what I'm gonna go with. Whatever the frick that one is. I'm sure there's at least 3. Okay, we got 52 people watching, Terry. I bet you at least 6 people in the chat have owned currently or have owned the Behringer one. So I'm sure, like Scott Brockway, he can tell us what it is, or Lawrence, or Doug won't.
No.
How about a fuzzy bear pedal? I have a fuzzy bear pedal. Somebody makes. What was that one called?
I think your cousin Doug is confusing me and you.
Well,
because he seems to call you fuzzy. Well, I'm the more fuzzy one here.
Oh, I don't know, Terry. He always makes. He's like, really? You're always wearing the sweater vest? Okay, fuzzy bear is a bad fuzz face. Sure, Scott. I don't know. They all sound the same to me.
The Joyo Octave is a copy of the.
Well, I don't. I don't do the Octafuzz thing. That's different. That's not a fuzz. That's an Octafuzz. Hey, Eric. He got a Pelt Fuzz. I don't know that one. Hello, Janice. Hello, Pete. Moon Retro Fuzz is not bad for a cheapie, he says.
I'm trying to remember Fuzzy Bear. Who's that by? That's
right. Thank you, Robot. So it is the Behringer Super Fuzz. And he has the OG, the Boss Hyper Fuzz. Yeah, I was trying to remember what the Boss version was. Fender is the Pelt. Oh, the Pelt's by Fender. Okay, the Fender Pelt.
If I remember off the top of my head, there's got to be at least, when you're talking about sub $100 fuzz effects, there's got to be at least 25 to 50 on the market from various makers. At least.
There's lots of, You can spend a lot of money on a fuzz, or you can spend a little money on a fuzz. And you know what, Terry? Fuzz pedals are like playing guitar.
Yep.
What do I mean? Well, guitar is very easy to play, basically, but very hard to play well. You know what I mean?
Correct.
It's really easy to learn a few cowboy chords. It's really hard to be Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
Same as fuzzes. You can get a basic fuzz tone quite easily, but to really dial one in, you got to be special and smart.
Well,
you can't just... like a fuzz, I find is harder to dial in, at least for me, than say a basic overdrive. A basic overdrive, you just kick the knobs in an approximate location, and you're going to get a decent tone. Whereas fuzzes, you got to be a little more precise.
Well, an overdrive and a distortion, I guess the best term to use would be they're more static in that they don't change much, whereas a fuzz, the circuit is basically meant to, go all over the place to begin with, so you can't necessarily what you might dial in on one fuzz, you might not be able to dial in on another fuzz.
Yeah, and I find a lot of stock fuzzes, they don't work. Like, I love a big muff with a mid control from like the TL Pedals Stinger Fuzz. I like that. See, now Robot's got a fuzz pedal addiction, got all the 5 basic types, and I was good. And then Lawrence got peaked. He's like, what? Really? Oh. Randy asked, how far did you get into the 30-pack last night? I was pretty good. I actually had 3. I only had 3.
1%. 3.
10%.
Oh.
You're not carrying the zero. You got to carry the zero. Carry the zero? Yep. I said carry the zero.
Let's see here.
See you, Janice. But I think I had about, Terry and I were discussing it, and we're pretty sure I had around 20 bowls last night. So, yep. And that's why I'm drinking grape juice tonight. I'd rather have some vitamins and honestly some sugar.
My sugar level is so low.
Doug did 80% of his 6-pack.
Yeah, he definitely was a little.
Oh no, yeah, Doug was pretty lit last night by the end of her. That's okay though.
Well, like I said, I thought he was actually sipping out of those bottles that hide behind him.
Look out.
That would definitely make you a little woo.
Mike Jones says, I don't like any pedals. Actually, he says, I don't leak any pedals. That's fine.
I don't like fuzz pedals. That's not a surprise, actually. There's a lot of people that just don't like the fuzz circuitry. Then there's the funniest part is some people that are like, they're like, oh,
hey,
I love
fish.
that.
He says, I just came in to win the LPD 68. Did I win? I didn't know we were giving one away.
Nice tonefish. Thanks, guys. I think I'll buy the Joyo. Got my own the GPU Tech Force Face. Best pedal ever.
Fook face? Nice.
Yeah, I'd also... That Fuzz Bear is also a good recommendation.
Yeah, and Joyo stuff seems to be pretty decent.
Yeah, I've had that Joyo pedal in mind for 3 years now.
And I've messed around with a few Joyo pedals over the years, and like they've all, well, yeah, the classic flanger, that one keeps going back on my board. I kind of like it as a flanger.
Yeah.
Hey, Guitar Man 45. Intonation helps with heavy fuzz. Ain't that the truth? And tuning. Yeah, tuning.
Oh.
Switch. Because it's all about those harmonic overtones. You wow, 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 wow.
Oh, yeah, and if you actually are really out of tune a certain way, it'll just make the fuzz go like crazy.
Exactly. Well, we're over a third of the way through the show. Let's thank the channel sponsors, or the show sponsors. I thanked them last night, but that was purely out of spite. That's right. Thank the sponsors out of spite. Because Doug got all uppity talking about his earbud, endorsement, sponsorship, affiliation, promotion, situation. Yep. So we want to thank Lawrence of LPD Pedals, Reno Fin Custom Guitars, Tesi Switch, FU Tone, Vibraprint, Flipside Music, 10 Solo Music, and of course Ardens Music. Links down below to cool stuff. I do recommend get on the mailing list from Lawrence. He doesn't spam you, but you do get early access. And yeah, there it is. See, Doug with his promoting. You have an affiliate link, Doug? Coupon code? How do you get paid? Lawrence is talking to Robot Master Switch. Yeah. So.
Interesting.
James Paper says, I killed 2 bags of medicated Cheetos. Nice. Medicinal Cheetos?
It was actually funny. I found a site that actually had those on it, and I was like, I guess that would be doing a 2-in-1 thing. Getting your munchies.
There we go. We do have a discount code of Corn Doug. Perfect. Tonefish asks, is there a better budget option for that extra modulation pedal than a used Line 6 M5? I don't know what a Line 6 M5 is, but I'm guessing that's an older gen multi-effects by Line 6.
That's their ones that are about yay big. They're a larger unit. They did a modulation. They did a...
oh, yeah, I remember them.
Yeah.
Yet, you know what? Those weren't too shabby. A lot of people have the green one, but I heard the purple one's really cool to find, too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem. Like, when you're talking about modulation, there's so many, there's at least 2 or 3 different effects in that.
Yeah. Well, and those things are always nice for dipping your toe in, because if all of a sudden you're like, I really like phasers, well, then you get into phasers. Yeah. Like I do, with choruses and phasers and delays and flangers. Well, not as much delays, thankfully. I can't really deep dive into delay collecting, Terry, when I mostly just use a slapback. There's not a lot of point. Wow, that sounded great for a single echo.
That's all I pretty much use is that Electro Harmonics Nano memory toy.
Well, thank you very much, Guitar Man 45. Yes, happy birthday to your daughter. Hey, Marsman! Made it. The mayor of Marseille.
Marsman. Nice.
I gotta sit different. Yeah, there we go. That was, the biggest issue after last night, Terry. I don't know what the hell I did to my right leg, but my knee is half shot. My right calf is, feels like someone kicked me right in the calf. So, I don't know what, other than I think I passed out with my legs crossed or something weird. And it just put pressure on the calf or something. And
maybe you pulled something when your dad yelled for you to come upstairs to get that stuff from Toppers.
I swear my blood pressure went up about 20 points on that one.
Oh my god. Yeah,
because he had called several times and I didn't hear him, so he kept raising his voice, and he was trying to walk downstairs that don't have a railing. He's got tremors and bad legs, so that's not an option to carry anything downstairs without railing, and he's half out of breath. So I'm just like, Jesus. Doug says I'd rather be kicked in the calf than the twins. Yep. Eric Salinas asks, what's a good delay to hide sloppy soloing? The LPD rival, if you want to go boutique. Because I don't think he's doing the White Rabbit currently, so we'll have to go with the rival. Or, again, for affordability, we want to go budget. A budget delay. Budget delay. I've done some budget delays. The Tone City Yellow Fall wasn't bad. But I don't want Tone City amp. I don't like Tone City pedals as a company. So I don't want to recommend them. Why, Ben? Well, that's a different rant, but for another time. I don't know. You know what? A Boss DD3. Maybe.
Well, the other thing, too, I was going to mention was in asking that...
Hey, JP Page 2.
And he's mentioning about that will hide sloppy soloing. Well, in that instance, wouldn't you actually want an analog delay versus a digital?
Touche, Terry. Touche. So, a DD7 with the analog setting? Yeah. Because I'm just thinking there's a crap ton of them on the used market. But MXR carbon copy,
because that's actually that's ultimately the biggest thing with digital.
What was it? I think Unbelievable sent to me. Isn't it the Joyo analog delay? Didn't I do a demo on that?
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Unbelievable? It's easier to me to dig out the box over there than it is to just ask. Okay, he says, yep, that's when he sent me. Yeah, that was a decent little... Again, Joyo. What the hell? I don't have any comment on NuX stuff, because I think I've only ever played a couple of NuX or Nux pedals. I think I played one Nux and one NuX.
Something like that.
See, there we go. We'll just ride the fence on that one. Let's see here. I found a Bayang AD7 at a yard sale, so that's my slapback. You know what? I think, Terry, the best slapback delays are found at yard sales. Mm-hmm. Because why not? Again, you only want it for a slapback. So all it has to do is function. That's all it has to do, is do its job. It doesn't even have to do it well. Just do its job. And the fact that you found one at a yard sale
cheap
is even better.
Yeah.
Hey, ones and zeros. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you very much. Scott Brockway says, Bayangs are good pedals. They made the pedals for Akai. Nice. And Akai, I don't
Akai
ever
back
think...
in the 80s was...
Yeah, I don't think of Akai as a pedal company. I think of Akai like I think of Sony.
Yeah.
Because they made everything.
Yeah.
They were a full-on electronics company, and to the point where, where those electronics companies are so big that you're like, oh, they make a guitar too. Sure. because it's catalog stuff or whatever, or stores where they're supplying. So they're like, yeah, anything that it's got wires and pots in it, we make it.
It kind of, actually, if we go back then, talking about the 80s, Tokai area were two big ones that, were companies that offered multiple products in the musical instrument industry.
Hey, we got a bunch of people rolling in. Christian Hunter, Half Ace, Mark Effects. Half Ace has a $100 NuX amp. Sounds pretty darn good for $100. Well, there you go.
Yeah, NuX has a whole bunch of stuff. They got they don't have too many.
Well, they're one of those companies. They're like, you know what? We're gonna make pedals and amps and accessories, and it's like the ultimate jungle website company. That's expanding. Like Donner. Donner makes everything now. Like Donner. Like they might as well rename the company Cheap Ass Fender. Because we're gonna make guitars and amps and pedals and guitar stands and capos and power supply. Like they make everything.
Well, that's just it. Like if we talk about that, it's like Joyo, Donner, Biang. There's like about 5 or 6 of them that are all pretty much. There's like about 5 or 6 of them that are all pretty much almost the same thing, but just a different thing etched on the top.
Oh yeah, you can tell Donner's just slapping their logo on stuff like Ibanez does.
Yeah. Nux, I would say, is a company that I think tries to be a step above a Joyo. So they try to hit that kind of low
premium jungle
range.
Website.
Yeah.
It's like even like Joyo. Like you have the Moon stuff, but Joyo seems to be a little bit better.
Over about Master Switch, more K-Line again.
Yep.
Yeah, some of the stuff that Nux puts out is or NuX is basically just like a cheaper variation of a more expensive product. So
yep, rip-offs, if you will. Well, that's fine. Why not rip tributes? That's a polite way of saying rip-off. Tribute.
Yeah, actually, that's right.
Which leads me to that joke. Why do they call it arts and crafts? I didn't tell that one the other day because there was a child in the chat. Remember?
Oh,
so I couldn't answer. Hey, folks, do you know why they call it arts and crafts? Because it sounds better than art and shitty art. Because what's crafts? Shitty art. There we are. And we just dropped 10 people. I make shitty art. Okay.
2 more thumbs down. Tesco pedals have a nice looking sound.
I don't think I've tried any Tesco pedals. I'd be curious about that. Let's see here. Mike Jones says there's a rehearsal space alley. I check out everyone once in a while. Throw a guitar, odds and ends. Homeless guy sleeps there. He left the looper where he slept. Usually it's in the trash. Sure.
Hey, trash finds are good. Look at the guitar.
I'd be staying in that place once a week. Usually around the first of the month. Take all that stuff home. Strip it for parts.
What about Flyboys?
Or you just send a sea container full of broken pedals to Scott Brackaway. Craft guitar? Yeah. You, Wayne? Yeah.
Craft guitar?
He's brought a couple by. I'm like, this is not a guitar. This is a guitar-shaped object.
Hopefully not craft is in spelling with a K. Or they might be that bad.
Terry. Like music with a K, craft with a K,
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that. Mike says the homeless guys get first dibs. Why not? Because if they can just then turn around and flip it, pawn it, whatever, and get the few bucks to get some food in their bellies or what have you.
Yeah.
Why not?
Wouldn't that be funny? One of them, DJ Homeless. DJ Homeless in the house.
That says there's 500 overdrives on the market and there are 99% tube screamers and blues drivers. I swear half of them are clones.
Well, yeah, that's just it. That's the inherent problem is that, the market is so
Well,
saturated
there's
with
only
the
so many
same kind of
ways to
thing.
build a horse or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tons of
No
cables,
one,
mic cables. Yep, exactly. Oh, nice. Guitar Man 45's got the pool open and ready for Memorial Day, which is next week. 1
nice.
week from today is Memorial Day, which we should say Happy Victoria Day to those that are celebrating it. Or for the Luscious Late Mayhem, they call it May 2-4. Why do they call it that, Ben? Well, here's your Canadianism, folks, because we love the Canucks portion of Canucks with Guitars. Victoria Day is traditionally known as it falls on the roughly third Monday of the month in and around May 24th, which is the Queen's birthday. Why will we celebrate Queen Victoria's birthday, not the current Queen? I don't know, didn't ask. But it's a day off paid, so we don't ask. We'll take it. Usually happens, like I say, May 24th, which also coincides with weather warming up, which is the first decent camping weekend, let alone long weekend for camping, the Victoria Day weekend. What do you take, Terry, when you go camping? A 2-4 of beer.
A 2-4 beer. Yeah, true.
Therefore, May 2-4. Hey, the Chad. And 9 thousandths. 9 fathoms.
The Chad. All I can think about is Tom Green. The Chad. The Chad is good. The Chad is right.
The Chad has some nice guitars. Just saying. Tonefish says, I have a Moore clone, and a K-Line Timmy. Am I a bad person? No.
No.
Well, I wasn't going to say that, Doug, but yep.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of ODR1 clones now. I've never tried an ODR1 type circuit, I don't think.
Nice, Chad. Welcome, and that's awesome.
Yeah, nice.
That's why he took the name.
Canadian summer, the greatest 6 weeks of the year. Yep. Well, it's usually, basically Victoria Day to Labor Day, similar to Memorial Day to Labor Day. That's about it.
But with the shifting weather trends...
Well, yeah, we get, 2 nice weeks in March, and then it goes back to winter through April, and then back to warm by mid-May.
And August is just a sweat fest. You might as well be down on the bayou with all the heavy humidity.
Well, it's funny. Yeah, friends all over North America say, it's this temperature here. And I was like, all right, in my phone, Terry, I have the local weather. I have Concord, North Carolina, which is where Charlotte Motor Speedway is. I have Nashville, Tennessee. And I have Laguna Beach, California. Okay, which is JJ's area. We're the hottest most days. I'm like, how are we hotter than Nashville? Yeah.
That is scary. That's what I said. Yeah, I mean, like the numerous times I talk with people from all over the world, and they're saying like it's this degree, and it's like, oh, it's this degree here, and they're like, what? It's like, yeah, just because we're in Canada it doesn't mean that it's like freezing cold all the time.
Well, that's and Christian Hunter brings up a thing here. He says, I'm an hour above Manhattan, so I'm guessing Connecticut, and it's cold tonight, mid-50. Well, yeah, that's the thing, though. On Friday, we hit 88 degrees here, 89 degrees, 88 with humidity here during the day, but it still went down to 52 at night.
Yeah.
Where it's literally t-shirt and shorts, like you're camping. You wear t-shirt and shorts during the day, you're sweating because it's hot and humid. And then by nighttime, you're putting on jeans and a fleece sweater hanging out around the campfire. And you can see your breath.
Yeah, and the only time that changes probably is the end of July and most of August.
Yeah.
Which then...
And even then, it has to be, no breeze, right, Terry, to break the heat. Yeah. And that humidity just hangs till like 11:30 midnight. And then all of a sudden it'll go from 78 to 68 in half an hour, down to 60 by about 1 a.m.
Yeah, it's like a sudden shock.
Oh yeah. Chad said, didn't know I was a race fan. Oh yeah, big NASCAR fan. Do a NASCAR podcast every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Tomorrow
Called
night?
Canucks. I'm looking at the set over there. Yeah, here.
Yep.
We'll just do a little. Oh, look at that! Yeah, I got rid of my space heater. All right. Oh!
Oh, when you
Now
did
the
that,
camera's
it almost
crooked
looks
because
like
the camera's crooked because I missed my pop shop pop cap here, which props up one corner because it's easier than leveling the desk. There we go. Oh, look at that! I even put it right back in place. Perfect. Almost like I knew what I was doing. Chad went to Indy last weekend for qualifying. I still haven't watched that yet. I'm going to. That's slated to watch tonight and tomorrow is qualifying for Indy because next weekend. Woo! My favorite weekend in motorsports because you have the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600 in the same day. And Terry, in the past, people have done what they know as the double. You race the Indy 500. And then you hop on an airplane, fly to Charlotte, and drive another 600 miles in a stock car in one day, 1,100 miles.
That's crazy.
Robot Mass Switch. Am I into World Rally at all? I used to be into rally racing, but I'd watch it, but yeah.
Yeah, back in my youth, it was F1 because basically that was what was shown a lot on CBC.
Yep. All right, Lawrence has to head out. Lawrence, somebody was asking for some kind of a pedal circuit maybe earlier in the chat. You could look into it. I don't know. It could be marketable.
Have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, that's true, Doug. We used to do the triple, which, because I forgot. So really, the day starts even earlier for the greatest day as a race fan, Terry. Because before the Indy 500 even, you have the Monaco GP, which is, one of the crown jewel races in Formula One. Well, that's first thing in the morning. So you get Monaco, have a bite to eat, then you get into your Indy coverage. Once that wraps up, fire up the barbecue for dinner because we're doing the Coke 600. Yeah. So it's like literally racing from like 9 a.m. to midnight.
Yeah, I would say in my case, like I said, it went from F1 to probably rally, and the same thing in relation to when I actually play video games. F1 or rally. I'm usually more rally than F1, though, when I play games on the computer.
Yeah, exactly. The Chad, they ruined it this year because Monaco was this past weekend, I think. And also they ruined it because NASCAR moved the All-Star race because the All-Star race was at the same track as the 600. So we'd hang out there for 2 weeks camping in the infield. Tinkerbell's in the MotoGP. Great sport.
Yeah.
Guitar 45 says just south of Lake Ontario, east of Lake Erie. We know where you're. So you're like in the Buffalo area by the sounds of things.
Yeah.
The GBA, if you will. Hey, Paul Fuchs. He says, I recommend the patented Total Hangover Cure. MotoGP is cool stuff. I was never a huge motorcycle racing fan, but I grew up around it, so I do enjoy it. Like when I used to watch my uncle race super bikes, and it were 1,000cc, not 750. Oh yeah, muscle those 1,000cc bikes around. Nice.
Well, in the case of, like I was saying earlier, we're at the mercy of what we're limited to for television broadcasting. So, if you
we would get
CBC. That's
CBC
all you
would show all
get.
Formula One races, especially replayed Sunday nights at midnight. You always could get the Formula One race Sunday night, midnight. Most IndyCar races were either on ABC, CTV, Canadian network, or Global would even show.
Yeah.
Because Global, I think, did Molson Indies, all the Molson Indies, which could be up to 3 a year.
Yes.
Because there was Toronto, and then Toronto and Vancouver, then Toronto and Vancouver and Edmonton.
I don't remember the Edmonton one, but I remember Toronto and Vancouver.
Yep. And then, IndyCar big in the 80s. I loved it because we always had a Canadian presence, too, in IndyCar. We always had a couple of guys that were pretty good. NASCAR, I would say a third to half the races were on TV prior. Well, actually, not even. Maybe 8 at least on network TV a year, until TSN came along, which is our ESPN.
Yeah.
But CBS would show all the big races. James Pava loves dirt tracks. So do I, dude. I worked on a dirt track team for years. I spent about a decade at a dirt track.
Ooh,
Unbelievable
drag
said you owe me a
races.
photo of the proto. I can do that.
Drag race. Yeah, I watched a fair amount of drag race.
I used to be into
too.
drag racing too. Shannonville Motorsports Park, Terry. They used to have a sign up that said where racers come to grow, I believe, because there was a variety of race schools there, both motorcycle and open wheel. Well, put it this way, every open wheel driver through the 80s took the driving school here. Every single one of them, when you're driving those little Formula 1600s and stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
Like Jacques Villeneuve, Paul Tracy, Greg Moore, Patrick Carpentier, Alex Tagliani? They all came through that school. Motorcycle schools there as well. Then they expanded the track in the mid to late 80s and included, because it had a long backstretch, then they put in a drag strip on the backstretch. So then we had drag racing there too, which was great. All of a sudden I could see drag racing locally. And they would bring in for exhibition runs like alcohol, funny cars, and stuff like that, which are really cool to see. I'm like, ooh, 5,000 horsepower, and I'm staying 30 feet away. Perfect.
That's what my friend did. He brought his son to the drag strip there at Bob Cajun, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it was alcohol dragsters. He said,
We had
what a crazy thing that was.
They had a jet-powered limousine once. That, dude, it went by, because we're set up for standard drag racing, that, like, say you're 30 feet from the track. When it went by, it sucked up all the oxygen in the air to the point where I took a breath and nothing happened. And then I took a second breath and there was oxygen again, because for that brief moment, it just goes by and just, and it was just hot. It was like instant sunburn and no air. I'm like, oh, wow. And then for the next run, they made us get out of the first 4 rows of the stands. Everyone had to move up 4 rows.
Oh, jeez.
Chad asked, what's your third G's for? And the 0.5. Well, the 0.5 is because he's transitioning from 3G to 5.
The 0.5 is just a joking thing. Basically, guitar, bass, playing, modding, and so forth. The G is for gaming related, so computer tech, games, online games, computer games, and so forth, PC hardware. And the last G is there because it's general interest, because talking about social issues, talking about TV, movies,
Pop culture.
Culture. Just whatever.
James says, dirt in your teeth, or dirt in your hair, gravel in your teeth. Love it. Yep. There's a couple sayings. If you don't have dirt in your beer, it's not real racing. And remember, Terry, dirt is for racing. Asphalt's just for getting there.
I like that.
9000 says, sprint car racing's pretty sick. It is, unless it's live. Yes, I heard that. Robot Master Switch, Dave Elfson he's no longer with Megadeth. I saw a poll. Who should be the new bass player for Megadeth? And the number one response was Jason Newsted. I was like, ooh, spite. Except Jason's already come out and said he isn't up to playing that at that level anymore.
Hip Metalworks' favorite racing game. In my case, it's the Dirt series.
The original Papyrus release of NASCAR Racing Online came out in the early 2000s.
Sorry, correction. If it isn't the Dirt series, it's the Need for Speed series.
Right, Need for Speed. Because Dirt's all dirt track racing, sprint cars and late models. That's cool. But yeah, the original NASCAR Papyrus, because that was a real simulator to the point where you could adjust shocks and springs. And I used to, my buddy Terry used to race online in the early 2000s quite a bit. And I'd give him my setup because I knew how to set up a car. And I do just crazy things. And at that time, that one, and actually one of the original NASCAR release from, again, Papyrus or whatever it's called. Papyrus? I don't know. But when they did the original NASCAR game in the mid-90s, it was a full-on, because it was the first full-on simulator to the point where your steering wheel controller, you had the choice of using 2 pedals or 3 because it actually had a clutch pedal.
Oh, yeah.
And and you had a stick next to the steering wheel, which was awesome. And that was back in the day when one of the adjustments you could do was actually lay back the rear spoiler on the car. It wasn't a fixed angle at that time.
Wow, nice.
So you go out to qualify, Terry, you just lay it right down and give yourself about 5 miles an hour more at Daytona.
Yeah, there you go. The Chad just said that. I raced iRacing. That is
these days iRacing hands down.
Yeah, it's still a very popular game.
Well,
it's lost some, but
Terry, iRacing, the professionals use iRacing to prep for those. Sorry, we're going on race talk here, folks, but because of the way with COVID and things happening last year, when racing came back, they eliminated qualifying and practice for most races. You know that we've talked about from you moderating NAS Canucks Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. So, all right, you're a rookie. You've never raced that track before. What do? You hop on iRacing and you drive your butt off for a week learning the track. To the point where I think it's every Wednesday night, I want to say. I think they still do it, is whatever track the NASCAR guys are going to be running at, say, this coming Sunday, which is, for instance, the Coke 600.
Yeah.
They'll run a simulated Coke 600 online with iRacing with most of the drivers that you're going to see on Sunday, plus a few invitees. And it's interesting. And they just kind of just do it, and that started out was during the initial lockdown when there was no NASCAR last year. How do you get your race on? It was a brilliant idea. NASCAR went to iRacing, so you had all your best drivers in NASCAR still racing, but at least online, and you could watch that.
Don't be sorry,
all
Chad.
Good, Chad. We go off the rails all the time here. And it's all right. We still got 55 people watching. People get it.
That's, I think, the coolest thing about Ben's channel compared to some of the other channels out there on YouTube is that it's basically free range that someone can.
We all have other interests outside of guitar. Some people are just guitar and guitar only, but not me. Yeah. I grew up being a car guy and guitar. That both equally. Oh yeah, now you know what? Favorite racing game, Terry? I'm gonna go the original Gran Turismo.
Oh yeah,
that was a game changer because most games it was like you had 5 cars, and all of a sudden you're like, what? We could build cars and have a career mode type thing, and that was a game changer. That first Gran Turismo.
That definitely wore out quite a few systems or discs. You're right. Yep. I remember that now, and the graphics at the time on PlayStation with that game was awesome.
Yep. Yeah, I think I bought the first 3 Gran Turismos, and then I got out of video games by that point. Grand Prix Legends. That was insane. Lotus for Genesis. Eric's going way back.
Wow.
Nice. And there's, let's be honest, there's a long history of racing and guitars together.
Yeah.
Who's the biggest crossover of all time, Terry? Who would you say the biggest crossover between music and racing would be? I know there's only one right answer, but
I can't think offhand.
Well, that would be Mr. Marty Robbins.
Oh, jeez.
Marty, he got famous in the late 50s, early 60s. And into his music career, he decided to go NASCAR racing.
Yeah, that's right.
And he would always run the Nashville, especially at the Nashville Fairgrounds. He would run there every year. And, Marty Robbins, NASCAR racer. Why not? I like the idea of Burt Reynolds, but Bert did a lot of driving. Although Bert did own a race team, he and Hal Needham owned the original Skull Bandit racing team in the 80s.
That's what I was just going to say. I thought he had some involvement with NASCAR or whatever before.
I have a couple diecast over there of Harry Gant.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, Harry Gant. I was a big Harry Gant fan, and plus, Bert and Hal.
Unfucking believable. Jerry/Primus.
Jerry was a race car driver. They used that as cut-in music coming back from commercial on one of the commercial breaks during the NASCAR event this weekend.
Oh, really? Wow.
They usually do. Every few weeks, that's one of the songs they'll use.
Guitars and cars. I wanted to go where the women. No wonder I never got anywhere.
Hey, Milt. I'm doing all right. I survived.
Hey, Milt.
So I suppose, we're getting close to the hour mark, so we should thank the patrons over at Patreon, which is a great way to help support the channel, because like the channel members, you're not a different color, so you don't stand out in the chat unless you're both, and there is a few of you that are both, which is awesome. So where is it? I got it here. You can become a patron for cheap if you want, or less cheap if you want to be less cheap. You can do that there. Ooh, that's a good choice, Robot Master. Rex Brown for the Megadeth gig. I dig it. Dang it, what was his name? Paul McNary at the beginning of the show, Terry?
I think so.
Paul McNary, newest patron at Patreon. And then we've got Randy Crooks, Bent Tom, JP Page 2, Fruitcake Tony, Grumpy Mike Guitar, John ZD351, Craig Thompson, Blackjack Guitar, Todd Flowers, Cousin Todd, Jose Benito Martinez Jr., unfucking believable, Knucklehead Zero, Brad Miller, Charles 75N, Absolute Mayhem, Joe C, Mickey Settlemeyer, Keith H, Charles Green, and of course Johnny. Awesome. There we go. Thank you one. Thank you all. We'll go a few more minutes here. Oh, God, my hip is cramped right up though. That's what I get for sitting for 4 hours last night. Jesus. Hey, yeah. Ben Tom. Just made it home from Cayenne's birthday party. Awesome. We gave Cayenne a big birthday wish near the top of the show, sir. I hope he had a wonderful birthday party.
And now that's really reaching back. Tonefish. Super Excite Bike.
Nice. Guitar Man 45 says, I used to go to Milan Dragway a lot and Toledo Speedway. I have a story about Toledo Speedway. It's a historic little short track right outside Toledo, Ohio, believe it or not. Go figure that's why it's named that. One of my favorite drivers for a number of years was Ken Schrader, because Ken drove everything. Dirt, asphalt, open wheel, stock car, didn't matter. And we went over to his race shop a few times, and every time I'd go to his race shop, Terry, I was hoping I'd get to run into him, but I knew I wouldn't because I follow the guy on social media. Every time I go in, he was always testing an ARCA car up at Toledo Speedway the day I'd stop in at his shop. And they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Ken's not here." I'm like, "I know, he's up in Toledo." They're like, "Oh, you are a fan." I'm like, damn straight. I'm the guy from Canada.
They're there. They pick up the phone. They start dialing.
Happy because I'm going to watch the Hal Needham / Burt Reynolds movie. Awesome. There's several to choose from. You have the Smokey and the Bandit franchise. You got the Cannonball Run franchise. It just depends. What do you want for a funny comedic sideman? Do you want Jerry Reed or Dom DeLuise? Those are your choices.
Oh, jeez.
Just off the top of my head. They could have done some other stuff, but I can't remember. Did they also do Stroker Race?
I can't remember.
Hooper and Stroker Race. There we go. Thanks. Perfect.
Wow.
Laz missed the last half hours, but he's back. Him.
Welcome
yes,
back.
Him. Should him get involved? Should I contact him? Not him. Him. If you want to know what I'm talking about, you got to watch the movie.
Well, if you're interested in having pretty ladies in the movie, you can always do Smokey and the Bandit because of Sally Fields.
And one of the best soundtracks, and that's just a great movie. Jerry Reed, though, oh my God, he's one of my faves.
Yeah.
No, Scott gave it away. That's fine, Scott. Be that way.
Him. H-I-M. Makes sense. It's kind of like AC/DC and Chris.
Nice. Well, we've hit the hour. By the way, if you haven't already, folks, please check out Terry's channel, Terry's 3Gs. He can put a link to it in the chat, if you will. Trying to think, any other things to cover? Is there any news items? No. Was there? Not really. Well, we covered the Megadeth thing that I didn't remember about for a Fawcett Cannonball Run. Yeah, that's true.
Ooh, yeah.
Plus, wasn't one of the groups? Yeah, it was Sammy Davis Jr. and Dean Martin.
Yeah.
And Jackie Chan's first movie. That's right.
Really?
Yeah, first American movie, at least. Anyways, yeah, he was. They were driving the hopped up. I think it was a Subaru, and it was the driving tandem was him, Jackie Chan. I had to read it again, and the guy who played Jaws in the James Bond movies. They were a team of drivers.
Oh, no way. Wow. I'm trying to think back to that. I'm going to have to probably revisit that movie.
Classic. Classic.
Hey,
so
Craig.
There we are. Hey, there's Craig coming in right at the end. Nice.
Yeah,
so anything to add, my friend, before we wrap things up? And I'm going to go back to watching racing, apparently, and having a late dinner, because I had a really early dinner. I had cold pizza at 3 o'clock this afternoon. We'll call that dinner.
That's more like...
Excuse me.
That's more like slupper.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or lupper. That's it. Lunch and supper.
Tom just put Tom Looks for Cannonball Run on Netflix. It wasn't Barbara Brock, a.k.a. Daisy Duke, in the first one as well.
I think.
Yeah, Dane Martin and Jamie Davis Jr. were priests in a Ferrari, and I think, Barbara Brock and someone else, they were a couple of women that drove like a Ferrari as well.
No, it was a great show last night. It was awesome having some new people on. I actually was hoping that there would be some people out of the chat that actually wanted to get on.
I kind of forgot to start inviting people on. We had like 6 of us on most of the time, and I didn't want to get too crowded, but then I forgot. And yeah, we just had a good time. And it was funny.
Have to do
check out the Anvil movie. That one's good and kind of depressing. Drove the Lambo. Thank you, Half Ace. Thought so.
Beyond that, I don't know. Hope everyone has a great week. Everyone be safe and well, and do well for each other. Remember, positivity wins, and helping each other in our lifetime.
Awesome. If you want to check out another couple great music documentaries, I recommend The Blues Brothers. That's a documentary. And Spinal Tap, another documentary. So both of those movies have more realism in them than you'd think. Anyone that's gigged, they know. And hit the thumbs up, please. Yes, if you haven't already.
Yep. Like, share, subscribe.
Yep. Like, share, subscribe.
Sub if you haven't.
Oh. That sucks, Tom. That does suck. Eric says he bought the Anvil movie about 10 years ago and haven't seen it. I don't know, some of us feel like we've lived it.
Yes, great point, Tom.
Thanks, Dale.
If you are having any type of mental issues, don't be afraid to reach out and get help, whether it be your suicide hotline, your physician, or anyone else. Go out there and get help.
Yep. I want to say there was another great movie just hit. I want to call it, I think it was just simply called The Songwriter. Willie Nelson, one of the stars. I believe Chris Christopherson. And then I want to say someone like Deborah Winger, perhaps. And basically it was Willie is in a really crappy record deal he can't get out of. And so he refuses to, write or record any music. under his contract. So then he starts feeding songs to a young, unknown female artist type thing. Sort of a Star is Born type thing, I guess. But it was great because, anything with Chris Christopherson and Willie Nelson in it, forget about it. It's great.
Rockstar was a decent movie.
I enjoyed Rockstar. I just remember Rockstar, one of the first movies I watched with my longtime girlfriend. And she said, "Oh, you'll love this. You're a rock guy, right?" And, so they start, I think the first scene, they're at a rehearsal or something, or they're about to go on stage. That's what it was. They go on stage, they do their song, and then, right near the beginning of the movie, they go to see Steel Dragon in concert, right? With the original lineup, we'll call it, right? So let's say that's 10 minutes into the movie. And so far, I'm watching it because, I like Marky Mark and I like Jennifer Aniston, so that's nice. And then they go to see Steel Dragon play me. I'm like, oh, Zach Wilde's in this. And my girlfriend's like, what? I'm like, I'm like, well, I don't know if he's in the movie, but that's him playing on this song. Because it was like one of the opening riffs, it was like dun 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 dun, and then he throws in a false harmonic. And let's be honest, if there's one person you can pull a pinch harmonic out and go, that's Zach, And then sure enough, you see him out on the stage, and I was just like, thought so. Like I heard Zach, I knew I heard Zach Wilde. So it was a great soundtrack and a good movie. A little depressing at times, but good movie.
Yeah. There's a lot of awesome movies out there covering both almost every genre of music. Rock, metal, country.
Another great one, British movie. Strange Fruit. Look it up. It's about like an old band that gets back together with one member who's the kind of enigmatic, is he even still alive? Last I heard, he was in an insane asylum type thing. They get the band. Billy Connolly's in it. He's hilarious, of course. Eric says the Doors movie. Yeah, it was pretty good. I'm not a Doors fan, but the Doors movie was good. There, Robot Master Switch, I played the saxophone for you. I just realized I forgot to mention that.
Isn't Canadian Bacon a documentary?
But as much as Strange Brew is, probably.
Yeah,
exactly. Rockstar was fun and depressing at the same time. I know. That's so true.
Trying to think.
But yeah, Strange Fruit. Look that one up, folks. That's a great movie. Great movie. And it's one of those, it can tug at the heart at times, as well as, it's sort of like Almost Famous. That was another good one.
Kind of like the Johnny Cash movie with Joaquin Phoenix and
Never saw it.
Witherspoon. That was a really deep movie.
I thought you were going to say the Buddy Holly story with Gary Busey.
Oh, God. Crazy Gary Busey.
Or La Bamba.
La Bamba was good.
I like La Bamba.
You know what? It'd be funny. A remake of La Bamba, except RJ.
RJ could do it.
Yeah.
CB and D never heard. I see what you did there, Robot Master Switch. Quadrophenia, great movie. So, there we go. There's lots of movie suggestions, folks. So thank you, Terry, for coming. Tom, are you back next week? We'll ask, since Tom's in the chat. Tom, are you coming back at some point? Or maybe we'll do a three-way. We'll transition Tom back in. If Tom wants to do that.
Three-way wouldn't be a bad idea.
Well, we can, we'll just, make it easy on the viewers, too. We don't want to change things too often.
Yeah.
So, Tom, let us know, please. Thanks, I said, thanks to Terry. Thanks to the mods. Thank you, channel members. I see who you are, Guitar Man 45, BC Rich 581, Laz, because they're just on the screen. Thanks to the patrons, new people that have tuned in, returning viewers. If you're new, again, please subscribe, like, share, all that fun stuff.
Future viewers.
Hey, Paint Neighbor. And, And let me think, what do we got? Tomorrow I'm doing NASCAR. Wednesday I'm doing Nez Says. Thank you, Chris. What do I got for videos coming out? We've got a video on. Oh, you can just see the headstock right there, but it's a black headstock. That's right. Is it? Yeah, that looks like a vintage Ibanez, perhaps. Yep. There's a video on that coming out on Wednesday. And then on Friday, continuing with Flashback Friday, starting a 3-part series on the restoration of a guitar that came back into my life.
Nice.
So there we are. Thanks everybody again that tuned. We got 40 people in here. Awesome. No, BC Rich. Actually, a lot of the soundtrack was done by Ian Thomas, brother of Dave Thomas, who was one of the McKenzie brothers. But also, Ian Thomas had a huge hit in the early 70s with, Terry, what was Ian Thomas's big hit?
Ooh, feeling fine, mama. They took my money like I knew they would.
Yep.
Na, 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 na,
which everyone thinks is the Neil Young song. Nope. Painted Lady is Ian Thomas. Allowed him to relocate to California. So that's what you did. All you had to do, Terry, you write one hit and you're buying a house in Malibu in the early 70s, right? Because Malibu wasn't Malibu yet exactly. So yeah. So there we are. There's that. That's it, and that's that. Thanks everybody that tuned in again, and we'll be back next week. Sunday Night Hang. Who do we got? Oh yeah, that's right. Matt Fry and Dano, because I don't know what Dan goes by for a name. He changes his name up for online periodically. Miss you at our Boner Jams. Just that, literally, I was just about to hit end broadcast, and Boner Jams shows up. Did Tom actually get back to us? He says, thanks, gentlemen, but he didn't say if he's coming back next week. I didn't see anything there. I'm scrolling back, Tom. I think you skipped the question. I think he's avoiding it. I don't know.
No pressure, Tom. No pressure. No pressure.
I said yes, but he said yes to the Chad. That's okay, Boner Jams. You're more than forgiven. We still love you. Boner Jams is probably doing his show this Wednesday, because that's got to be the last Wednesday of the month. He'll hopefully be back next week. Awesome. So there we go. We'll send Tom the link. Whether he clicks it is up to him. How do you like that one? Yeah, so we got that going. This, that. Anything else? There was something else. I forgot because I lost my train of thought. What the hell was it? We did the Ian Thomas
music
thing.
Related, something NASCAR related.
Could be, maybe. I don't know. It'll come to me as soon as I hit the end button. I don't know. But, as always, folks, hold those doors open. Let that guy in ahead of you in traffic. Do good things, and good things will happen to you. Why? Because karma is real. Cheers. Rock on. Be good to each other. Be well. Be safe. Happy tone chasing. Right? Right. See you, folks.